given a voice to the voiceless. We share the stories behind our freedoms and the ultimate sacrifice of those who protect us all. This is Patriots Inside the Wire.
Patriot is someone who was willing to give his life for his country and served honorably in Iraq.
Signed our names with no regrets, only wanted to be the best that we could be. And we wanted this and nothing more than to be true down to the core. We thought we'd live forever, but when the full moon is bright and the wind blows just right, I can hear your voice on the wind.
I should have left it. I came back on the perfect day, really. But you know what? It's really more like
21 guns into the night till we meet again on the other side. 21 guns, this is goodbye till we meet again on the other side. Yeah, 21 guns.
Beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country.
It's great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome to the Patriots Inside the Wire broadcast, hosted by Gold Star mom, Tracy Two-Step.
There you have it. Welcome to the show. Tonight, I know that John Swat is on his way in, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just bring up our guest. We're going to start a conversation with you. That's what we're going to do. This is Commissioner Sid Miller. How are you tonight, Commissioner?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Tracy.
Well, thank you. Hopefully you can hear me well. I'm doing mic checks here. Internet. Got you. Well, tonight, as you can see, it's the Commissioner Sid Miller, who has been extremely busy between, I want to get into the rodeos, go Texan, and a few of your other things that you have been roped up into, literally. So it's beautiful where you're at right now. I'm so glad to see that you actually get to take a break and sit for a minute.
Yes, that's it. I've been working horses all day. I roped and trained this morning, and then I went and took a bunch of brood mares to the pasture, picked up a stallion, brought him in, and trimmed one horse's feet. So I'm kind of gassed.
Well, I read it. Well, that sounds like a lot. So everyone out there that loves the rodeos that get put on out here in Texas, roping, the ranches, all sorts of things. That's what we call true cowboy. I always say, is it an urban cowboy or is it what we call the true cowboys? So I always refer to it that way. So I do believe that you are not an urban cowboy. I know that. But what I also know is that you've been very, very busy. Not just in rodeo, but we have so many topics that you jump into. It's very interesting to get you on this show. So we had decided as Texans, as Americans, that we would get a circle of us that continually just connect. And what we're going to do is stay connected, get you updated information out there on things that are going on maybe it's legislation, maybe it's about the rodeo, maybe it's about a festival. Texas is very large, for those of you that are listening. I know you know this, but sometimes you might forget, especially if you haven't driven across it in a while. It is quite a drive. So, Commissioner, I do believe, within your office that you might live out of your vehicle more than you do at home. Am I correct?
You know me pretty well. Last year I spent 200 nights in hotels. So subtract that from 365, and so I think that's more on the road than at home. But it's my job. It's my job to promote Texas. It's my job to promote Texas agriculture, Texas businesses. It's my job to go find markets for the products we produce, both agriculture and non-agriculture. I represent the Go Texan program. Since we've last talked, I've spent about a week in Kenya, Africa.
Oh, wow.
Trying to open up markets there. Very successful trip. Probably going to go back to secure, close the deal. But they like our technology, our bioagriculture, our technology. They're hungry for that. Animal genetics, they're ready for that. And Texas has the best of all of those.
Oh, wow. So Kenya.
Yeah.
You did say Kenya. Okay,
Yeah.
I heard that right.
We
And
want
so
to sell them corn and wheat and oats and livestock genetics, and I want to buy macadamia nuts. We don't have any.
I hear they're good for you. I know that. Macadamia nuts. Well, interesting. So as the commissioner here in Texas, I get this all the time. They'll say to me, Tracy, what in the world does a commissioner do? And I said, well, I can tell you the one in Texas does not have one label. I know that. So I don't know about your state, but why don't you just give us a little bit of information on what you're supposed to be doing and not everything that you literally do?
Well, first of all, it's a statewide elected office. You have to run for this office, just like a governor, lieutenant governor, comptroller, attorney general. So I've done that 3 times now, successful all 3 times. I'm a third term commissioner. We have over 130 statutory functions that the Department of Agriculture is supposed to perform. We do cows, sows, plows, everything agriculture, but it's much more than that. We run the nutrition programs for the state and federal government. So every morning when I get up, I'm responsible for 5 million school meals at the public schools across Texas. That's our single biggest program. But we're also the consumer protection program. I'm in charge of every barcode scanner in the state, making sure they're accurate. There's a lot of those. Every scale in the state. You think, well, they're at the grocery store, and I know they have them at the feed store. Well, we also go into pawn shops, jewelry stores that buy and sell gold and silver, airports that weigh your luggage, mail houses, pharmacies, Starbucks. They sell coffee by the pound, by the weight, make sure their scales are accurate. So consumer protection is a big part of it. I even inspect ping pong balls for the Texas lottery, make sure that they're legal and not that the lottery's not rigged. So you don't know what we do, but we behind the scenes, we've got the consumers back. Of course, we also do pesticides and food inspections, egg inspections. We watch for, we have a border security, but not the kind that pops in your mind. Ours is a little different. We pull over trucks. We go through trucks that come into our state, either from Mexico or from out of state. And we look for anything that could damage our agricultural industry. Unwanted pests, diseases, invasive species, insects, all that kind of stuff. So we do that. We have roadside stops, just like you see the weights and measures guy pulling over trucks. Matter of fact, we're probably there with them at the same place that they're weighing and inspecting the trucks. My folks are there going through those trucks. We find some stuff, some contraband and some other quite interesting stuff, but we've got the DPS there, to handle that end of it when we open up those trucks. So a lot of times the guys don't want to open their truck, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We tag them out of service, and it's a $6,000 per day fine for every day they sit there that they do not let us inspect their trucks. So,
wow.
Most of them let us, look inside and see
Most of our, they're okay with it most of the time.
Last month we found 300, a little over 300 trucks that were illegally coming into Texas. So it's a big problem. We're cracking down on it. The legislature, I've been trying to expand that program so we could stop more trucks. Finally, the legislature heard our cry and is allowing us the assets we need, more personnel to do more truck inspections.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, actually, we're going to bring back to the stage Mr. John Swat. There he is. If we're having any reverb out there, let me know. And what it would be is that the Facebook or something's on. I can hear it, but let me know. I don't hear it yet, but welcome to the show here, Swat. I hope you're doing well. We're going over all of the many things, ironically, that you just added some things there, Commissioner, that I didn't think of, because the things that we talk about are very specific to me running around in legislation or being a Gold Star mom. You did bring up something a moment ago. So I want to say this to everyone. I know tomorrow's July 4th, and I know that people love to just get together, have fun, good food. I do want to bring up one thing. Be careful with your fireworks out there. Number one, you know, we've had enough fires as it is in Texas. Aside from that, what I wanted to say also is that intro you just watched. I just saw your message, by the way, Brent. Thank you. Yes, the intro you watched is, yes, he did come home on July 4th, and that's Adam, my son, Sergeant Two-Step. His R&R from Iraq was on July 4th, and huge parade, you name it. And it is, you can look it up on our YouTube TV channel. It is out there. You can find it. So thank you. And I also see your message there. And I say prayers up to that one. And you're going to be great. But as far as the fireworks, Commissioner and SWAT is a veteran here. Fort Stewart, over here in the House, Army. So I got two things. The fireworks, my son grew up loving them. I mean, talk about just all extreme testosterone male. Like he was built to fight, right? Loved fireworks. I had never seen anything like this. He came home on July 4th, just been in Iraq. And that night, as it was getting darker, fireworks started going off. And I saw this look that I had not seen on him, except for maybe one time when he was a little kid, and it was a scared look. And I said, something's not right. And I watched him for a minute, and I watched him walk in circles, and I said, Adam, and I usually say Two-Step on here. Sorry. So Adam, what's wrong? And we talked about everything, and he said, Mom, I gotta get out of here now. And I said, it's the fireworks, isn't it? And he said, yeah, I got to go. So I ran up, grabbed my purse, and we left. My goodness, it had to be almost midnight, and people were still shooting them off. And so you can only imagine what's open close to midnight. And I'm not really one that gets out like that, so I would know. And, of course, he had been gone. I'm not going to say where we ended up, but I am going to tell you, you'll never guess. It's somewhere that I would never go. But it is the only place we found away from the fireworks, still open, to grab a drink with each other. And I had the best conversation with my son, and he felt safe. If you had looked around us, you'd have been like, what the heck? He was more comfortable there than he was. I mean, you have to think about it. You know, I was listening to that song. I'm writing one right now, by the way, SWAT. It's Bottle Rockets and Bullets, and it's because of July 4th. And so I got educated in real time. It was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is an issue. So with July 4th coming, I do want to throw that out there for everybody out there listening. You got to pay attention that, you know, some people love it. Some people, maybe they can't handle it. And Commissioner, what about the situation like where you're at? I know in my county what's going on, but what is it with the 4th of July and fireworks?
Well, usually the municipality, the cities outlaw them. So the city fire department's really not a problem for them. The problem is out in the countryside, and that's defended by volunteer fire departments. You know, struggle with asset equipment, It's an all volunteer force. So there was about 20 years ago, two firemen were going by I think it was a church in Fort Worth, and it was on fire. They weren't on duty. That wasn't their location, but they stopped and volunteered to help put that fire out. They lost their life.
Oh, wow.
Well, since they were volunteer firemen, they had no workers' comp. They had workers' comp when they were on duty at their station, but the volunteer firemen across the state, they don't have any money to buy workers' comp. So this is when I was a lawmaker in the legislature. So we got together and decided that the major cause of fires, the biggest one is fireworks. And so we got with the Fireworks Association, and we certainly didn't want to hurt their business. I mean, I love fireworks. We got to be smart about it. So in negotiations with the firework industry, we added a 2% sales tax to the sale of fireworks, which is agreed upon by the fireworks industry themselves. And that money goes into a special fund. And now we're able to buy workers' comp for all the volunteer firemen across the state.
Oh, wow.
So if they, if they do get hurt, injured, or killed in the line of duty, they're taken care of. Their families are taken care of, and so we are taking care of our first. A lot of people don't know that, but that's one way we take care of them.
Yeah, I did not know that. I'm glad I asked that question. I actually didn't know that. So I hope that a lot of people are hearing this, and if they're not, it'll still be on later. Again, you're on Patriots Inside the Wire. Multiple channels here. Will be on audio tomorrow on multiple channels here. We've got Commissioner Sid Miller, and of course our co-host here, Mr. John Swat. He is a Army veteran. And Swat, how are you doing? You are familiar with what I'm talking about, aren't you?
I am a little familiar. By the way, Commissioner, thank you so much for joining us again. Happy 4th of July to you and your family. I was with Artillery Tracy, as you know. So, Commissioner, I'm kind of used to the big bangs. But our big bangs are a little bit different than what they shoot off at those fireworks shows. But, Commissioner, I just wanted to ask you a question. It's been a while since we've seen each other, and I know you've been really busy with everything, especially out there campaigning. And I'm sure Tracy knows, and I know especially the last week, there have been a lot of developments, especially coming up with 4th of July. One of the biggest ones, as you know, Commissioner, was the presidential debate last week, which I don't know. I'm sure you caught every minute of it. I believe over 50 million Americans tuned in, especially coming up, on the 4th of July. That was, one of the most important, things that we saw. And when I first saw it, Commissioner, I have my own opinions. And again, I'm not trying to get political here, but I honestly wanted to hear your feedback as somebody who kind of works in that realm, and what you kind of thought about what you saw between the president, Joe Biden, and of course, the former president, Donald Trump, and what that has in store, of course, for the country coming up here in a few months, because it is an election year.
Well, 2 points. First would be Joe Biden. I'm cowboy logic kicks in. I said, oh my gosh, a week's preparation, and this is as good as it gets. I mean, I don't want to laugh at the man. He's got physical problems, ailments. His family should have, pulled him out of there. Should have never ran him, in my opinion. His wife should have pulled the plug on that when it comes time for re-election. Those symptoms were evidence then, but that debate, it was horrific. I mean, it was just the worst debate I've ever seen in my life, by far. And Trump winner by default. All he do is just show up. The second point is Trump's performance, I thought, was probably the best ever. He acted much like a statesman. He could have jumped on him and tromped him in the mud. He didn't. Stayed above all that. He answered the questions. He stayed on topic. most part. He didn't personally attack Biden. The only time he came close, but it was okay. He said, you know, I don't know what he said, and I don't think he knows what he said either. But he didn't dwell on it. He went right on to the topic at hand and answered it. And so I commend Trump for acting like a statesman. A lot of people didn't think that he could do that. You know, he's so abrasive and over the top, kind of in your face. That's kind of the New Yorker coming out in him, I guess. But I was glad to see that on Trump's side, and I was actually saddened to see Biden up there in the performance that, his party, his family have got some real serious decisions. Maybe he could get by the next 6 months. His physical ailments are going to progressively get worse. We've seen that in the last 6 months, year. He's going downhill, in my opinion, rapidly. So they probably, personally, I hope they leave him on the ticket because he'll get beat.
Yeah,
really.
I completely agree. Yeah,
I told my wife before the debate. She said,
"Well, and
I hope
Tracy."
I'm not hearing anything. I'm not sure why, but
can you hear us, Tracy?
I can hear you now. You're cutting out. Can you hear me?
I can.
I think you cut out, SWAT.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm sorry about that. I wanted to get the commissioner's feedback, of course, because, I know that your realm. And, one of the things, Tracy, that stood out to me was, and maybe I'm taking it a little too personal, but, we like to talk about veterans, Commissioner. We like to talk about our servicemen and women out there. And, when the president kind of said that, we hadn't had any service members die on his watch, I'm not taking anything away from any, it's hard to be in that position, of course. And, every president, all the way from George Washington down, we've all lost, members. And of course, every member that we lose is, a loss for all of us. But for him to make that kind of statement, maybe it's just me taking a little personal, but I kind of found that a little taken aback, maybe a little astonishing. What was your, take on that? What was your kind of a reaction, if you don't mind me asking?
So SWAT, there's wind or something that's blowing, and that's why I'm there. I know you're driving or your window's down. I'm not sure, but I did hear what you said, so I am able to. I'm reading lips. I'm doing all that. So I did hear you. Yeah, I heard you talking about losing our service members. The first thing that pops in my head there's two things. I'm going to go back to something really quick before I say this, though. Yeah, I agree, Jeremy. Jeremy, thank you for your service. I do agree with what Jeremy is saying. It's there on the screen right there for you, everybody, if you want to see it. Elderly abuse. I have an issue with that, too. As far as what you mentioned, Commissioner, so you mentioned transportation, the laws and the things that the commissioner is in charge of, and then going across and making sure what's in there and contraband. We met because of the Two-Step Act. So the Two-Step Act is named after my son, who is an active duty soldier from growing up in Texas, playing football here in Texas, and then comes home on July 4th, goes back, serves his country while he's still serving. Things that happened out on, I won't get into too much of it. What I will say is that I've been in legislation a couple of times now. And last time it went extremely well till the very end. And they just couldn't keep it together when Title 42 busted, and that was Trump's. And so I do have a couple of things. I'm going to mix it in here with you, SWAT, and then I'm going to mix it in with you, Commissioner. Commissioner, I'm coming back. I'm not going away. I'm not a quitter. I'm going to get the Two-Step Act. And if Texas had listened to me, well, a lot of them did, so I'll give them that. The ones that did listen understood, look, if you don't care about the lives, do you know how many millions to billions of dollars that can go back to Texas, literally, because it's being taken by these car rental agencies? And do you know what's happening when they're taking these cars, when they rent them at these agencies, because there's never been a law. And so, Commissioner, their answer is, and this is all public, you can go see this if anybody's not for legislation. You can go look up legislation and literally watch me testify and hear people say, my gosh, Tracy, maybe it's like the horse and buggy days. I'll never be able to get that out of my head. But, I look at people and I say, I assumed it too. Until I had military knock on my door, I didn't know there was no law. I didn't know that I was paying for this fee to get my ID checked, but there's no law, so they don't do it. I've got the insurance companies that they want this law. I've got other people that will say, yeah, my kid, there's drugs, there's trafficking, you name it, that's happening in these cars that are being rented, these vans. I had a police officer stop me when I was coming out of the Capitol. I have his name and number too, because he said, I'm about to retire. When I retire, I want you to understand a lot. And he gave me a lot of phone numbers and information, so I won't give his name right now. But this session, when I come back, he will come back too. He said, ma'am, he had seen what I was carrying around, and it was a picture of Two-Step, my son. He said, can I tell you something? I said, sure, what is it? He said, I've served in the military, and I've been a police officer for years down at the border. He said, a lot of us are putting in transfers. We don't want to be down there anymore because nobody's doing anything to help us. And he said, are you talking about rental car agencies by chance? I said, yes, sir. Why? And he said, that's the number one complaint we've had for years. He said, we can't get anybody to listen. We can't arrest them. We can't do anything. We got these cars. We're trying to figure out where do they belong. And he said, it's the biggest loophole that no one has understood. And he said, if you knew and you could walk in that Capitol, I was next door in another building. He said, if you walked in that Capitol right now, and I'll tell you that last week, if you'd been here, the truck that was parked in front of our Capitol and what was in it, you'd run. You wouldn't be here at this Capitol. I said, well, I don't think I'd run, but I definitely know who I'd call. So I definitely know who to call. I had figured that out. And we know I'm not a quitter. So I will be back in legislation. The only reason I brought that up is because, Commissioner, when you brought up transportation, your list of all this stuff that you're in charge of, you're bringing up something that hits right in my lane. And so a lot of people wonder, how does Tracy know the commissioner well? Why is Tracy talking to the commissioner? Well, you all just heard it. The commissioner is not just in charge of land. It's not a basic job, and it is in Texas. There are a lot of responsibilities, and one of those is exactly what you said. I wasn't going to go there tonight, but you did when you listed part of your responsibilities, and that hits with my legislation. So I look forward to figuring out what we're going to do for legislation coming up because of our local elections, which I paid more attention to, very, very close attention to. I want you all to listen to me right now. Pay attention to your local elections because that's very, very important. The SWAT, you asked me another question. I'm going to be really honest with you. I call them auditions. That was an audition is what it was, and it was sad. That was a show, and I'm very against elderly abuse. I am against trafficking. I am against the abuse of anyone that cannot defend themselves. So, and that's where the country comes out in me, and that's where the fight comes from. And I think that's where my son got it. So my comment would be that I didn't watch that audition, and that's usually what I say to people. And I say, what I do is I go to people, and then after that, I go to a specific area to get my news because of, and this is for me, like nobody has to do what I'm doing. This is a free country, right? Right? We're in America. So as we have our service members that have served, you get your free speech, you get your rights, and I'm glad, and I'm very, very proud. And for those that are serving or have served. And at Patriots Inside the Wire, we represent not just our military, but it's patriots. So we're all patriots on this screen, but it's also the border, our officers, our fire, all military branches, our Space Force. But we have a situation in our country right now. You know, there was just an announcement about a platform, TikTok, talking about what are they going to do about this platform. there's a lot going on right now, but the number one thing that I keep getting is that the elderly abuse. I noticed that a long time ago. So I do feel like that Commissioner, I don't know what to say except that we are all smart enough here to understand our Constitution. And if not, ask questions. Please always ask questions, because trust me, I don't know everything. I'm trying to still get educated on how this works in the best route. But as far as that debate, here's what I'll tell you. Under that administration of our President Trump, and I'm allowed to say that, his letter, name, all that's back there on my wall. The other one is not. And that's my choice. So when it comes to him and recognizing our military, and I'm talking about Trump, and I know I can talk for a lot of our service members and their families. Not only did he stand up for them, not only does he remember them, not only does he remember the families, which are Gold Star families if they're no longer there serving active duty, but our veterans. You better believe that he put them first. He definitely holds them in high regard. That was not something that Trump would say just to get a rise out of someone. He literally is telling the truth there. So I tell people, I say, you know what? Can you tell me that if someone went home with you after work and paid attention 24/7 to everything you did, do you think you'd like them all the time? Maybe not. Let's pay attention to the work. Let's pay attention to the history and the record and show what's been done and what we did compared to where we're at. And then vote. So if you're paying attention to that, it's common sense to me. Now, I know that a lot of people don't have to agree, and that's their right. But, Commissioner, all of I can say about that is I'm not going to switch my mind. So whomever out there and what you're doing, you can. But as far as it goes for me, no, it's going to be, for me, it's Trump. So, and I have a personal story, and I'm not going to get into the rest of it. But I want to say thank you right now to President Trump, because he is someone that stood up. He is someone that literally got involved, and he is someone that understood what happened with my son should never happen. And we've got a situation in this country. So, and I see that we've got between SWAT and the commissioner both are having internet issues while they put me in a conversation about our presidency. So it's very interesting. You've both got internet issues while you brought up the politics here. So while we're waiting for them to come back, I do see your comments here, and I do appreciate them very, very much. What I do have for you is we did have a guest with us just recently. That guest is Dennis Price. Again, next week, watch for next Wednesday. Dennis Price will be back live with Kyle Sims. Kyle Sims is someone who is very active in Texas. And as Kyle Sims comes on, Kyle Sims will be on with Dennis Price. They are both heavily what we call Texas Rangers here and taking care of their people. So that's next Wednesday. And the commissioner's back. So, Commissioner, I was just telling them that it's quite a great timing for both of you to ditch out of here, as y'all left me with the subject of the presidency. I handled it well. You know me. You know what I said. I bet you knew what I said. I said, you know who I'm voting for. You don't even need to ask. So I have a true story that is about him. I'm not going to get into it tonight. It is about President Trump. And the first person that noticed what happened to my son was not good. But he noticed further that in the transportation department, we got a serious issue. And yeah, I mean, I've got a true story. So if you want to start talking about what I call real people, true stories about people and what they do and showing that work, I can talk about that all day long. Putting on a dog and pony show, I don't have time to sit there and watch that. That to me, just like Jeremy said, he's a veteran. He can say what he wants. It is elderly abuse, is what it looks like to me. So, Commissioner, I really don't want to make this show all about that audition. Okay, that's what Tracy calls it. I personally did not need to sit there and, I take my clips from other areas and then I know where I go to. But I feel like you do. I mean, I noticed what you said. It's almost at a point where before I could not stand the individual in office, but now the compassion of someone who's at an age where they just cannot function is sad, is what it is. So I have a heart. My heart says this is wrong. Like, we really have got this wrong. Like, we got to get this right. And, we're smarter than this. So I do believe in this country. I believe in the people that are working behind the scenes 24/7. Commissioner, you happen to be one of those people working 24/7. Where's a picture of that bus? So the commissioner has this bus. We have a friend in common that sent me this picture. And I said, my goodness, what is that? And it is a picture of a bus that is wrapped. So, Commissioner, you want to tell them about your bus?
Well, the bus is part of my gas and groceries tour.
Right.
It occurred to me that the opposition is going to keep Trump in the courthouse or the jailhouse from now until the election as much as they possibly can. So he's not going to be able to be out on the campaign trail. Came up with this ideal of the gas and groceries tour, because that's basically, the cost of gas, the cost of groceries, the cost of insurance, the cost of utilities, everything has gone up. And it's all at the feet of Joe Biden and his administration. So the plan is to take this bus, and we're going to all 10 swing states. We want to go twice and take our message. We'll have co-chairs in each state to help us set up with the local people. We want to get a venue, a big park or open meadow or field, and we'll start 20 miles out. We'll have a Trump train. The bus, we'll take the bus in. The bus has got a stage platform. It's a double-decker bus. On the back of it, we've got microphones set up, everything. We've got our own FM radio station broadcasting from the bus. So you can tune in. If you're within 5 miles, you can tune into the rally. So we're going to go out there, and the goal is to move 1% of the vote, to get Trump 1% more than he got last time. If we do that, he wins every swing state. So it's not a lofty goal. It's very doable. We're going to have billboards, text messaging, radio ads, TV ads, direct mail, surrogate speakers. We hope that this really catches on. We'll add a second bus, a third bus, and we're going to take it to them all the way till election day.
Well, you know what, Commissioner? You know who broadcasts? You know who sings? Do you know who writes? Do you know who has a personal story with Trump? You know that answer, don't you? You know who also is throwing a concert called Patriot Fest, right?
Who's that?
Me? Look
great.
at the top right of your screen. Can you see our logo there for Patriot Fest? We're going to have a talk. We're going to have to meet in person.
Okay, well, great. I'm glad to know that.
I've already got bands that are veterans or our officers or our firefighters. So I've already got your Patriots all together. I've got the whole thing. I've got several locations asking when we're going, when we're going to be there, and what we're doing. I'm ready to go. It was a matter of you brought it up. So you know me. You've talked to me enough. I've interviewed you enough that I cannot believe you didn't think of that. Between my work with Trump, literally, like personally, there has been work that he did that is good work. Being a Gold Star mother, representing with Patriots Inside the Wire, I'm just looking at you, and I'm going to do this. I mean, come on. You got right here. We're already working on it and building it. So we all got to work together and communicate better. And I got your answer for all that. You've already got your whole Patriot train going. So Patriot Train, Patriot Fest. I probably wouldn't sing there, but I am very good at hosting, by the way. So I can host, I can speak, and I can tell the truth. And my truth is the truth. And I will be sure to bring everything that I do have from my president, which was Trump, and will be Trump. So I already have all that. So between, Conroe, Salado, Arlington, Fort Worth, all over Texas. Okay, well, come on, let's do this concert. And I said, well, it's not that easy, y'all. There's some things you got to do before that happens. So when you talk about the Trump train, it reminds me of X. I see that you're on X now. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but I've had this conversation with a few people, and I've told them, I've said, I want you to go get on X. And they looked at me like, what'd you just tell me to do? I said, oh, my Lord. I said, okay, imagine if MySpace and Twitter had a baby. That's what you call X spaces. So when you go on Twitter now, which is now X, there are spaces in there. So that's what it is. And you can get a lot of information. I have met a lot of people that way. You can just go listen into these different rooms. I noticed you're on there now. But when I did ask you a while back, you're like, no, what are you talking about? And I said, well, everything's changed as far as that goes. So I'm happy to see. I have seen you're very active out there on that platform too. On the platform of X, I'll say this, it's where we get a lot of our viewers there, and then some other locations. But yes, so as far as Patriot Fest, hosting true stories, true patriots, service members, that's this show. Everything that you mentioned. So ironically, when is this little Trump train, this FM station, when does it leave the station?
Well, we've had a change of plans. We were going to New York on the 11th in just a few days, encircle the courthouse while they gave Donald Trump his sentence. But that has been postponed and moved to sometime in September. So okay. The first official trip we'll make will also be this month, 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Republican National Convention. So we're going to take it to the convention in Milwaukee. And so we'll be there at the bus. People can see it, can come on it. I'm asking everybody to sign the bus. We've got Sharpies there. We want everybody's signature on as many signatures as we can on the bus to show support. I think it'll gain a lot of attention. I don't know anyone else that's doing anything unconventional. This is unconventional. It's not social media. It's not text messaging. It's not emailing. We're going to do all that.
Right.
But the social media people can't censor us on this trip. There's just no way they can. So we're going to take our message directly to the people. We're going to make as many stops in as many venues as we possibly can. You're welcome to come ride the bus with us. We'll have people on there like Ted Nugent, other conservative activists, the co-chairs in each state. We'll have the state people that are best known come on and that support the president. So it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be exhausting, but it's going to be worth it when we win the presidency back.
I definitely will go. You do need, I have to say this. You got to listen to me, okay? You really, I've been telling everybody, okay, just listen to me. Commissioner, you got to have like that heartstring, the real people that have had the real connection that they can stand up there and say, I'm a Gold Star mother of, and I have worked with President Trump. This is what he saw. This is what he did. Did it get kicked out when he was kicked out? Yes. Have I ever, since he has been out of office, been treated with the same kind of respect? No. And any Gold Star family will tell you the same thing. They don't get recognized, and it's not just us, it is the border families as well, and they're called angel families. So the Border Patrol agent Javier Vega Jr., you know that I have not only a soldier, I got a Border Patrol agent. I got you covered in every area. Even good old DeSantis, who brought up my name a long time ago at that very first audition that came out, tried to bring up fentanyl. I don't know if you remember that one, but there's a show on Roger Stone. Everyone go check it out. Yes, I'm on there. I spoke right back up, because if you're going to mention my name and you're going to tell a story, you got to get it right. So you got to get your facts right. Not you. I'm talking about, I call him Little D. That's what I say in Florida. But of course, you're on Patriots Inside the Wire with people who sing, who write, who are working in legislation, who are veterans, who are the very people that are going to pull that heart. And so that true story, when it comes out, not just about voting, when you can put that in front of someone, you can't deny that. You look at that and you're like, how am I going to sit there and argue with her about a son who isn't here and what he did catch? So what I'm saying is, if eventually I'll tell my whole story, and I will say who had seen what he saw and didn't catch what he did. And for someone to do that, and it was quick, very quick. Man, to be a mom that just needed somebody to say, wait a minute, wait up, let's listen to her real quick. Well, I was right, and I had been right. And so to have someone that took the time to do that, and let alone a president, it's shocking that it was the president at the time. Didn't take him long at all. I don't know how many other representatives, congressmen, senators, you name it, I had to talk to for several years. And I said, screw this. I cannot handle the way this works. Plus in Texas, it's every other year with the legislation. So I had it federal, cruising along. He's out. Tracy's out. So everything that we had worked on went out the door too. So I definitely have always had a platform that will involve that story. I've never told my whole story, but I've always told you that for the campaign for Trump, that is someone that I will come out and I will tell my story, and I'll be happy to do it.
Good for you. That needs to be, that story needs to be told. People are hungry to hear that kind of story.
Yeah. Well, I meant with you. So I shouldn't be out there by myself.
Sure.
I don't need to be out there by myself doing this. So it's a lot easier when we all kind of connect like this and we all go, wait a minute, if you're doing that and I'm trying to do it over here, I'm going to join forces is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to say, you know what, Commissioner, you're now in charge of Patriot Fest. And so that Patriot train that you got going, I got your concert side to it. I got your speaking side. I got two really big stories. If you want, take a pick. But he has a great relationship with the border family that's related to me too. And his mother, we're all connected and related. He had always brought her in. So we aren't people who are telling you something to be talking. We're telling you true stories about what happened when someone needed to step in and do something, when it's a service member or a Border Patrol agent, when normally you don't care because it doesn't make the news. It's normally if it's a mass of something has occurred. But no, Commissioner, I mean, you're making me laugh tonight. That's a good thing. I needed that. So I am glad that SWAT asked you that question. The producer, it's funny, as soon as that was asked, the logo above your head went up, and that was for Patriot Fest. So Patriot Fest is Patriots music. It's about what's going on in our country. It is everything that you said. There it is, big and bold for everybody to see. Patriot Fest needs to be the Trump train.
Well, I wish you much success with that, and I know it will be.
Well, it is, because I'm coming to your bus.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no, thank you, because I'm coming to your bus.
Come on.
Yes, that's what I mean. I'm not going to go do this alone anymore. I'm going to come with your bus, and I will tell my story, and we will do some music for these people. I don't know where SWAT went, but he'll pop back. The internet's circling somewhere. But that's the perfect answer right there. You just described everything that I'm already doing. So I just leave out the whole presidential side usually on the show, depending on who's on. I don't go that deep into it, but Patriot Fest is something about celebrating our patriots. And that doesn't mean just military. That means right there, Commissioner, looking at you, Mr. Patriot, right there. Maybe we'll even do a contest, Mr. and Mrs. Patriot. Who knows? You never know.
There you go. I like contests.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, oh, Lord. No, we better, yeah. Sorry. I just had a thought. There will be a lot of people that would show up in Trump contests, lookalikes, or that's where I was going with it. I was like, ooh, as soon as you said contests, they probably started going right there. I'm thinking music and, fun and just not so corporate and stuffy is what I'm thinking, but definitely get the message out. Definitely have the stories there. And you know what? Be America, born in the USA, right?
Go.
Who said that? Bruce Springsteen's song. You mentioned Mr. Ted Nugent there. You're going to have a talk with him.
Say that again.
I said you mentioned Mr. Ted Nugent there. You're going to have a talk with him.
About what?
He did not return my call.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
That's what he usually does. He usually says, I can't do it.
Well, what that a lot of people don't, I only tell a little bit, is I have worked on a lot of campaigns. And why have I done it? People say, I'm not even getting paid to do this. Okay. So I don't have a money tree. I'm still looking for sponsors. And, but there are people out there running for office that we need to make sure we're getting in, and people don't understand it is financially, it is rough. I mean, in order to run, if you understand locally how that works, and at the presidential level, you need money. I mean, you can't do it without that. Not only do you need the votes, but in order to even get in, you got to have the money. So, yes, I have worked on, I think, 10 campaigns this year. And so I think I paid my dues for Mr. Nugent to get his butt on the show.
Well, just reach out to him again. Maybe he just didn't get the message.
Now, I'm going to let you.
Buys or dies, whichever comes first.
Well, there you go. But, Commissioner, I think I'll let you. How's that? That'll be a great show. We'll have you and we'll have Ted on here, and we'll just all have a good old Trump train bus party.
I bet you'll get him on the show. He'll give you 10 or 15, I'm sure.
Well, the best thing to do is to mess with them like that on air. So as long as you're listening, keep listening and get your butt on. So nothing but the truth, nothing but real people. The thing that I do want to get back to is gas and groceries. We brought that up earlier. And as you can see, I have the website up. For those that will be hearing this in the podcast tomorrow, it is gas, and is it all spelled out, Commissioner? Gas, AND, groceries.com for the website. Can you hear me?
Yes. It may be gasandgroceries.us or it's .com. I can't remember.
Okay, so
yes. Gas
and groceries. I think it's .us too, actually, now that I think about it. Gasandgroceries.us. Gasandgroceries.us. That is a program to help people, correct?
We're raising money to, it's going to cost something to keep a bus on the road for the next 6 months, and
yes,
and venues and fuel and everything, all the ads and advertising we need to do. So, but it's worth it if we can get Donald Trump reelected, get rid of Biden administration, undo all the regulations that they put on us, roll back the taxes, undo all of the our environmental crap that they put on that causes us to go out of business, push back on this 30 by 30 plan. There's just a ton of stuff that we need to reverse. Bring down the price of gas and groceries and rent and utilities and insurance and everything else that's skyrocketed. It's killing the average working family. It's just killing them.
Trust me, I know. I know it well, but yes, it is gasandgroceries.us, and is spelled out. So gasandgroceries.us. I am saying this, you're on Patriots Inside the Wire, because as this goes out on an audio, it'll be on Apple, Spotify, iHeart. We're already live on multiple channels, but as it goes out as a podcast and they're listening to us, I like to make sure that as we keep going, they understand what we're talking about, not looking at the screen. But you're on with the commissioner right now in Texas, Mr. Sid Miller, and Patriots Inside the Wire. You can find us easy, just patriotsinsidethewire.com. We're live right now. I don't know where the co-host went, but we started talking about the Trump train because my co-host brought it up and then busted out of here. So I don't think it's a secret about me and my opinion as far as the country or Trump. But the one thing I haven't done yet is I've had a private conversation with Roger Stone, and he's actually a kind gentleman, is what he is. He noticed something when it happened, and like I said, I've got a couple stories that really do need to be out there, and I'll get them out. It's just a matter of where, when, the right timing too. So what I want to do is be able to tell those, and those true stories are going to get those heartstrings of people to say, okay, this isn't just a person that's not reachable. He's in a screen, or, oh my goodness, the money, the Trump Tower, or stupid things that will get brought up that are in the past. Listen, we all do things that we probably wish we hadn't, and we learn, right? So let's take a look at numbers, records, our Constitution. Let's look at things that, how can we make it better? How can we do things different? And everybody can always learn and grow. So I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to be voting for anyone else. I wasn't trying to turn this episode into a Trump episode, but when you mentioned that bus and what it's for, and I got the picture from someone else, and Commissioner, as well as the show, between Patriot Fest and the singers and the Patriots and exactly what you're using it for, you've already got your team right here.
Go to work.
What else do you need? I'm already working for free.
Actually, we're going to take tomorrow, 4th of July. We're going to celebrate a great lady. It's been with us a long time. She's went through hell and back herself. She's always persevered, always provided for us. She's 248 years old tomorrow, and it's God bless America. It's America's birthday.
Yes, so, I love that one.
Celebrate with family and friends, and hot dogs, hamburgers, and fireworks, and family reunions with each other and our friends.
Right.
So let's take a special day tomorrow and celebrate the birthday of our nation.
That's right. That's right. I do agree with that. I think that you are correct. And will you be eating those hot dogs? Are you going to be cooking them, or you got someone else cooking?
I will be cooking them and eating them. Absolutely.
What about a hot dog contest? You can have they have that hot dog eating contest on TV every year.
One's my limit. Heartburn City after that.
When you have to keep Lactaid with you all the time, that you're turning a different age, right? I have to keep Lactaid with me. So I'm not that old though, so don't go thinking that, everybody out there. I'm just saying that just something happens to you as you just keep going and going. But Commissioner, gas and groceries, we want to make sure everybody remembers that, gasandgroceries.us. You go there and you mention, the birth date of our nation. I know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. right here in our country, celebrating that tomorrow with friends and family, and remembering exactly why we're here and what this nation stands for. And that is, we are proud to be here in the United States of America and honor and celebrate with those we love and our friends and our family and the friends that become family. So, yes, for your July 4th, for everyone's July 4th and the birth date tomorrow, we say we hope that you have a great one too. I'm actually going to eat a hot dog myself. I don't know if I'll be doing any fireworks, but I'll be taking it easy. I think I'm going to just take it easy. How are you doing there in your family? You know, you've got a pretty good large family. I saw that you were roping in a contest.
Yes.
Yes.
Just got back from Tulsa, the Expo Center, Tulsa, 2-day roping there. Did quite well. First day I won the tie down roping and the breakaway roping. Second day I won the breakaway roping and was second in the tie down roping. So almost a clean sweep, which is makes me feel I can still do it and kind of keeps me going. I'll be the 5th. I'll be roping in Fort Worth at the Paint Horse World Show. I've got a horse that I'm showing there and a couple of roping events. And then I'll beat it out to Stanford. I rope 8 a.m. in Stanford at the Texas Cowboy Reunion Saturday morning at 8 a.m. So,
well, that sounds like where I need to be. I need to be at a cowboy reunion.
there you go. It's a good one if you've never been.
No, I actually haven't. These are Tic Tacs, everybody. I know everybody's looking like, what is she doing? It's Tic Tacs. That's all it is. I have to keep my saliva going. So it's an old trick. But roping, the rodeo, and all of this, and there's Go Texan too. Go Texan is usually set up here in Texas, up there in the stockyards for the rodeo. Now you usually attend what, Houston and Fort Worth?
We go to all the major stock shows. We'll start out at the State Fair of Texas. We have the Go Texan Pavilion there. We have over 300 vendors there. You can actually come buy these Texas products. Next stop will be the Fort Worth Fat Stock Show and Rodeo. We also have a building there, the Go Texan building there. From there to San Antonio, San Angelo, Houston. Then we end up at Rodeo Austin. So we've got our Go Texan people all there, all set up. You can come by and view all these wonderful Texas-made products.
That's right. And you got your Go Texan show right here. You put us on your page there and introduce the show to your million followers there that you've got that pay attention to what you say. So we appreciate that. We thank you for that, for putting us up there. I'd love to attend. I'll have to get to one of those rodeos and check out the schedule and see what the dates are and start lining up my calendar. I'll have to get with my assistant to get with your new assistant.
Okay.
And line up get our schedules lined up there, and then get out there and make it happen. So I don't have a problem with that kind of work. So I'm happy to do it. But Commissioner, I think we lost SWAT there, who normally are you going to sing for us, Commissioner?
No.
I put you on the spot there. I am actually not going to sing tonight. I'm not going to break it out right here. But what I will do is I do have something here. If SWAT's not coming back, we'll get him later after having us talk about politics. I do have a clip here that was given to us, and I don't know what you know about this, Commissioner, but I've got a song here. It is by a veteran, and when you hear it, I think that you'll understand it. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to play this song for us real quick, and the listeners, and because we've got maybe 5 minutes, I'll play some of this song real quick. We'll listen to this. Tell me if you think it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down by this veteran here, which is Brooks Herring.
She's the only one I've ever known who could change my mind. Takes a hell of a fighter to make it through my worst times. Double down and stick around through this life of mine. She saw the best in me when I couldn't. Every demon that I fight, every wrong that she's made right, every memory that's mine that she's had to face. I can't sleep straight through the night, but she's right there by my side. She knows my faults and loves me anyway. I could spend my life just trying to count the ways. She's one hell of a woman. It takes a hell of a mother to raise a kid that's not her own, and love him in a way that I could never show. She's a hell of a lover and a hell of a friend. And everything I've needed, God, she's been. She always says, babe, I love you more. Every demon that I fight, every wrong that she's made right, every memory that's mine that she's had to face. I can't sleep straight through the night, but she's right there by my side. She knows my faults and loves me anyway.
What do you think? You like it?
Very good.
I give it a thumbs up too. We're going to play our exit song here, and you will hear Sergeant Two Step's little brother giving an announcement for you. So if you hang tight, we'll grab that for you, and we will tell you. Well, obviously, thank you for joining the show, Commissioner, number one. I can see where you're at. It's getting a lot darker. I think you're north of me. Are you north of the capital area? Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you might be north of me just based on that. But we are grateful that you do take the time to do what you do. We are, blessed to have someone like you who does take a moment to stop in your busy schedule and say, you know what? We do want to get to the Texans that are, no matter if they're the little ones or the big ones. And I would be one of the little ones out there broadcasting. I was going to tell a joke. I'm not going to do it. I'm just real people. I mean, it's one of those situations where we recognize when to step in and support and step up to help people. And we are very, very grateful for you and what you do. And I will, of course, be in touch about the Two-Step Act. But before that, we've got the presidential stuff that we just figured out that both of us are heavily involved with. So we've got some work to do. It sounds like we need to get together and actually make this happen. So I will play this clip for us. Don't go anywhere yet.
Thank you for watching another episode of Patriots Inside the Wire, hosted by Gold Star Mom, Tracy Two-Step. Help us broaden our reach. Like, subscribe, and share.
Don't stop me, please. So out of my brother Two-Step.
There you heard it, Sergeant. Out of my brother Two-Step. It does affect the families. We will say goodnight. I'll still be here, Commissioner, with you. I'll be here in the studio. We're saying goodnight to all of you out there. Have a great 4th of July. Thank you for joining us on Patriots Inside the Wire. You can check out our website. And if you want to get any of the information from here, thank you for joining us. We're always on Monday and Wednesday.